everyone, it's Amanda from AmandaFrancis.com here with my friend Andee, who is a spiritual life coach and an alum of the Money Mentality Makeover digital course. Hi, Andee.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here with me.
I'm pumped to be here and to talk about my favorite course.
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, so you were telling me before we got started that you took this course a little over a year ago. Tell me like how you found it and what the process of signing up was like for you.
So I actually found you through a Facebook ad. I was scrolling through and there was an ad, I think for the course or something, and it led me to you. And I was reading what it was saying. It was talking a lot just about shifting your mindset around money, what it means to have money. And I was reading it thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is everything that I need right now in my life. I had a successful business. I was making okay income, but I had a lot of lack and scarcity thoughts. I had a lot of shame and guilt around debt, about what does it mean as a woman to want and desire nice things. And so I knew that if I just took this course and applied these principles that I would, hopefully have a breakthrough. And so that was the intention I set going in, and it has completely transformed my life, my business, my finances. It's been incredible.
Amazing. Okay, so you started the course. How quickly would you say into applying the principles did you start to notice a difference in your finances and your experience with money?
So when I clicked the submit button to enroll, I set the intention right there in that moment of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show up fully. I'm going to stay committed. I'm going to do all of the modules. I'm going to do all of the homework. And so within I think honestly, it was like the first 10 days after starting the first module that I received a random check in the mail. It was a refund check from my health insurance company that I had been battling like a year prior to get this refund, and kind of just closed the door on it about 6 months before that. And a check for like $700 showed up in the mail within like 10 days of setting the course. And I had set a goal to have $1,500 come in just randomly. So I wanted it to be outside of the regular stuff that was coming in. And so the 700 came and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm like halfway to my goal for the month. Like this is crazy. And then shortly after that, within that month time frame that I had set the goal, I received another check from a family member. It was a gift and it pushed me over that $1,500 mark. And that was it. Like I was completely sold. I was like, this stuff works. I can't believe it. And so then I just stayed super, super consistent, and I totally surpassed, had a $4,000 day in business, had a $15,000 month, double, and have tripled that since then. So it's been a little over a year, and I stay very true to these principles, and my life does not look the same it did when I found that Facebook ad. I will tell you that.
Oh my God, it's so good. So good. So, I want to highlight a few different things you said that's all really important. You dedicated, you decided you're going to do the work. You spent time in the homework. You spent time in the principles. Is there anything that stands out as you're learning to change your mind? Like what did you have to reprogram your thoughts around?
Yeah, I had a lot of student loan debt, and that was a huge area of like just letting that go for me, because I felt really guilty about that. I felt like I was going to be in debt until I was like 60 years old. So as I went through the course, I realized that was just me making the choice to pay something off over time instead of looking at it as like this huge burden in my life. And it was the first time in my life that I was actually able to take that huge weight off my shoulders. I can remember journaling about that and like getting super emotional. Like, oh my God, no one in my life has ever told me that it's okay. Like this, like I don't have to carry this guilt around. Like this was just a choice, and it was a great choice. And I'm not mad at the choice. And so that was like a huge relief for me. And I can just remember crying and like journaling, like, oh my gosh, my student loan debt isn't a bad thing. And that for me opened the door of like all this abundance to come flooding in, because I was living in that scarcity place of the debt and being in debt forever. Like that's what I used to tell people. I'll be in debt till I die. That was like my story.
Oh my God, what a horrible affirmation. Not saying anything on you, no. But like, yeah, so instead of, you're not in the frequency of abundance or even the frequency of not enough, you're in the frequency of less than enough, in the hole, buried by debt, consumed by, yeah, like that's what, that felt horrible, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that was the first time in my life, literally, since I had the student loan debt, that I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's actually not bad at all. And there's enough to pay it, and I can pay it. And so that was a huge breakthrough for me with the course. And then it was like I would get excited. I would pay my bills, and I would like thank God and thank the universe for having the resources to pay them. And I would find pennies, and I would celebrate the pennies, and I would be excited when I bought my latte, you know, all these things that you kind of intertwined throughout, and homework that you gave us. I just started doing it every single day, over and over and over. And the money just was coming in, and it was coming in, and it was coming in. And I was like, this is insane. But I shifted my frequency. I shifted my vibration to allow those things to actually come to me. So it was huge.
Yes, that's exactly what you did. And I know you know that, but like, you know, like with the $700 check that came in the mail, that check was yours. But as long as you were blocked around money, as long as you were vibrating at a frequency with debt, there was no openness to receive that $700 check, right?
Yeah.
If you had stayed in a scarcity place, it would have been likely that you wouldn't have got that 800 or whatever the other check was from the family member, that you wouldn't have got that. And it's likely that when you would have had received any kind of abundance or any kind of increase, you would have felt compelled to spend it only on your student loans, right? And earning's not fun when we think it has to go to savings or has to go to student loans. When we give ourselves the freedom to manifest for what we desire, then we can buy the things we want, support the things we want, pay on the things we want, and money can be fun.
Yeah. And that was the other part. It was like creating the budget, you know, what was my budget? And then what were the things that I really wanted? And I stopped feeling guilty about desiring nice things, like desiring a trip, desiring the bag, desiring the shoes, where in the past I would live in this place of like, I need to earn X amount so that I can pay X amount to debt and then live off of the other. You know, it was never like my dream list had pay off my student loans. That was my dream list. Instead of like pay, you know, go to Hawaii, you know, travel the world, go to Europe. Like those things weren't on there because I didn't dream like that. And so I started changing what I was desiring and did crazy things like hop on a plane with 24-hour notice with my husband and fly to Hawaii for a week and, you know, plan a trip to Europe, these things that I wasn't dreaming about before because I thought the only income that was coming in had to go to my debt. So yeah, now I desire things and I don't feel bad about it. If I want the shoes, I buy the shoes. And then one comes in and it's like, oh, that was cool.
Buy my other fucking shoes. So you're living in gratitude. You're spending with joy. You're manifesting for things you actually want. And with that kind of flow and that kind of increase, I'm sure you're paying more on the student loans than you would have otherwise without these principles, right? And you're living a beautiful life.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So it definitely did the work. You know, you got to do the work. And when you do the work and you show up and you just stay consistent, like this stuff works. Like I was telling you, like this shit works. Like I remember like running up the stairs when the check came being like, oh my gosh, this shit works. And a couple friends were over and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, this course, I'm taking this course and it's on money mindset and like, it's working, you know? And so I was like, you know, celebrating that. And that right there did enough for me to know like whether that check would have been $700 or 7 cents. There was something about, for the first time in my life, receiving unexpected income when I was putting an intention out there to receive unexpected income that was enough to shift me into that place of like, just keep doing the work. So whether it shows up as a penny or it shows up as $1,000, it's like, keep doing the work because it's working.
Yeah, so you got clear on what you wanted, you set a goal, you knew you could have it because you had done the work around changing your mind, like you said, journaling out and crying and telling yourself new stories around money, right? So you clear the past, you make space, you're believing what you can have what you want, and you manifest completely random out of nowhere money over $1,500. And like you were saying earlier, you had your first $4,000 day within a couple months of doing the course. Then a couple months later, your first $15,000 month, and you've since doubled and tripled that. So it's safe to say, tell me if you feel this way. This is how I feel. I feel like it's safe to say that I will never be broke because I know how to incrementally increase my vibration do the practical steps, do the spiritual work, and let money flow.
100%. Like I say now, like I will be a multi-millionaire by the time that I'm 40, and like there's not a single doubt in my mind. Whereas like I would have never said those words 18 months ago. So and that's how big I dream. Like I have written myself a check with a date to go cash to myself from my account that I will 100% be able to cash within the next 5 years. That's how big I'm dreaming now.
Amen, sister. No, I believe it. I believe it. I said this in one of the other interviews earlier this week. You know, I remember when I was just trying to have a $10,000 month, then $10,000 week, then $10,000 day, like which I've done. Or, you know, I have conversations with people who've been working money manifestation longer than me. And recently I was on a call with someone who has been in the game longer than me, who casually dropped her $100,000 day when I'm right now getting my energy behind $100,000 month. But it's like once you learn to manifest money, and once you learn like the incremental upgrades, right? And once you learn how to get your energy behind a new number, you learn that anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah, 100%. And I've made investments into myself now that 18 months ago, the price on that would have scared the shit out of me. But now I'm just like, nope, that feels good. I'm going to do it. And it's a little bit scary, but like, I know if I continue to invest in myself, then it's going to come back times 10, times, 20, times 30. And so, that's the one thing I tell people, look, if doing this scares you, then do it. If there's something about this that freaks you out, then you probably need the work in your life. And so like, make that investment, like make the investment, make the commitment, because you're worth it. And that was the best decision I've ever made. I didn't necessarily have any business signing up for a course when I signed up for your course. But I signed up anyways, and it's completely changed my life. So best investment. And yeah, so just do it. Just feel the fear and do it anyways. That's what I tell people all the time. Then you need it. If it scares you, do it.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. That for me, it's that there's fear, but it's like this, there's excitement underneath the fear. That's often how it feels for me when something's the next right step for me.
Yes.
Yeah. There's like an anticipation and an expectation and an urgency kind of underneath all of the fear around it, right?
Totally.
Okay, well, you are totally one of my Money Mentality Makeover star students. I mean, we've met before, but I had no idea. Your numbers are insane, girlfriend. You're doing some really good work.
Yeah, well, I'm staying in the flow as much as I can. And that doesn't mean that I don't have bad days or that I don't have doubt, like that stuff still comes up, but I'm resourced in a different way now to be able to say, okay, this is a fear. This is an old thought. This fear around debt. I mean, it was coming up for me the other day, which is ridiculous. And I'm like, what? This is old shit. Like, I know better. But now I have the tools where I can even pull out an old journal and I can read where I was at when I was taking the course and say, like, I'm not that girl anymore. And so that's been the most powerful part, is that when the stuff still comes up, because it will, I have the resources now to be able to shift it much faster than I would have, when I lived in that scarcity for a really long time before.
It's not that the fear doesn't come up, but it's not quite as strong now, and I have a process for working through it, right? It's not overwhelming, and I know how to change my mind and tell a new story quickly, right? You can, what took you a few weeks when you're doing the course, you can now probably do, like I always say, I can do the steps in the course in 15 minutes now.
Yeah, yeah, totally, 100%. Yeah, so it's amazing.
Thank you so much for letting me talk to you about this course. I'm so proud of it, excited for you, and I'm excited to be multimillionaires together in a couple of years.
Yeah. It's happening. It's totally happening. Like, it's just not even a doubt.
I know, so good. Okay, tell everyone where they can find you.
So you guys can find me at andeelove.com. It's ANDEE love.com, or on Instagram at andeelove_.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much.